take an incremental approach to this market. I want to bring in Trader Aid co-founder Ayesha Tariq. And Ayesha, you actually are looking, I think, when I'm reading month to month, like just one quarter at a time. Is it that sort of? Is it, you know, are things changing so rapidly? That's just the smartest way to go about this.
So yes, Charles. First of all, thank you for having me back on. Always a pleasure to be back on. So 2022 was a very difficult year for most of us. And I don't think that many of us have actually traded this kind of a market before. So the approach I'm taking is a step-by-step approach because I do think this year will also be quite volatile. I think with the Fed still hiking, we might see an inflation slowdown, but it's still uncomfortably high. And I think with liquidity being vacuumed out of the system, we will see sharper moves in the market. So I would be more cautious and take things one step at a time.
This week, earnings season kicks off with the banks. How do you think they set the tone?
So I love watching the banks, and I always listen to JP Morgan live because I think they have very interesting things to say about the economy. The one thing that I'd be watching is provisions. So last quarter, we saw provisions go up. I suspect we will see more of that, and we might even see some bad debts. I would also be watching expenses. We've heard a lot of the banks letting go of staff. Now, although this is to cut their expenses, when we do let go of staff in banks, we give them what we call the golden handshake. So there'll be large payouts to these bankers, and that will definitely hit the P&L. So I'll be watching for all of this. I don't think the net interest margin will be sufficient enough to cover these expenses. I mean, they will still be profits, but I don't think they will be as high as we hoped.
Right. You also like consumer staples, which I think, well, it is a group that, sector that's expensive on a relative basis. But you pointed out something that I hadn't even thought about, the 12.5% jump in SNAP payments in last October. I've got it right here. I mean, this is really phenomenal considering where the trend was. And so something like that and some other thing, and so there's some other reasons why you think consumer staples are still worth owning at this point. What are some of the other reasons?
So basically, yes, the SNAP benefits are driving the top line, right? So they're driving the demand. And over the last few quarters, what we've seen with the consumer staples is they've increased their prices to account for inflation. Now, when these consumer staples actually increase their prices, it's quite often they don't take them down again.
Right.
But what we're seeing in the CPI and what we're seeing in the PCE, many of the raw material input prices are coming down. So, for example, the cost of potatoes, the cost of oil, all of that's coming down. So I think what we tend to see in the next couple of months is a margin expansion. So we'll see revenues at the same level or similar levels, let's say, but we'll see costs coming down. So profitability will improve. Yeah. So I still think that these are worth owning.
That frustrates so many people, right? They kind of understand when you're in runaway inflation and your costs go up as a producer. But, but in this case, not only do the costs stay, but the shrinkflation. They never bring back the bigger bag. Ayesha, thank you very much. Have a great, I want to say Happy New Year and always appreciate it. You do great work. See you soon. All right, folks, coming up, we've got one of the, and I'm talking about one of the premier, brightest minds on Wall Street. And we're here to talk about the Federal Reserve, the economy, and just the overall health of things. Jim Grant's going to join us at 2:25. But first, Wall Street's